to Wembley. Simon Barker very purposefully coming through the group there to get out and get on with business in the second half. David, if you were Lenny Lawrence, what would you have been saying to the Charlton team, do you think?
Well, just to keep calm, keep playing. They should be superior. The league records suggest this season that Charlton, you know, have had a hard fight, but they are in the first division, whereas Blackburn also have had a hard fight, but they are a league below them. And they've got to make their difference in class tell. And one assumes at this moment in time, Charlton do have slightly more talented players overall through the field. If anything, Blackburn have slightly the older side, and I think that Charlton's younger legs should pay off in this half.
The last time the two clubs met was in the second division last April. It was an important match for Charlton in their promotion campaign. They beat Blackburn 3-0, so that's the nearest we can give you to current form. But here, after 45 minutes, Blackburn Rovers have given a good account of themselves, and they of the second division are holding Charlton Athletic of the first. Simon Garner, a worry about him just before half-time. He is out for the second half, and here he is on the ball. Ian Miller. Colin Hendry coming in at the far post, and it came off Boulder.
It was a lovely angled cross. Boulder did well to keep going. He didn't hesitate. He knew that it was going beyond him, but he went all the way to force the corner.
And Miller, who played in that cross, has gone away onto the far side to take the corner now. Melrose back defending, but he plants it straight back where it came from. Barker. And Boulder brave again at the feet of Hendry.
Boulder did well there to smother that. He's a real gentle giant, is Bob. I had him at Luton for a while on loan from Sunderland, and he was going through a bad time. He'd been at Liverpool, not established himself, which is difficult to do there. And now I'm pleased to say that he's doing well for himself and his career at Charlton.
Ralph Milne is the injured player. He's another of the new acquisitions. Charlton have certainly had a crack at bolstering their playing staff to stay in the first division. Ralph Milne from Dundee United, Bob Boulder we've mentioned, brought down from Sunderland, Paul Miller from Tottenham, and his former Tottenham teammate Garth Crooks, signed on deadline day, but not eligible for this match. Perfect occasion for the final of any competition, and how good it is as we really enter the final season here to have a bright day, a good crowd and a highly competitive match to bring to you. And O'Keefe in trouble with his own defender, and it was Peake who shot wide. David Mayle was the player who didn't respond to his goalkeeper's call, or didn't hear the call. I'm sure you get two different versions of that episode, David, from the two players.
Or even responded late if he gave a late call, and that's possibly what's happened on that occasion. He was preparing to get the ball away, and at the last minute Boulder called. And of course, by that time he couldn't get himself out of the situation.
Part of the fun of the day here at Wembley was an earlier match between the apprentices at each club, which Blackburn won narrowly, a match monitored closely by David Pleat, in case there was a good young player there.
There are certainly some big boys there, I know that for apprentices.
Walsh. Here's Shipley, favouring the right foot again. Lee. Walsh. Now Paul Miller. David, you were making the point in the first half about George Shipley having to use his right foot, and that Colin Walsh would be perhaps better employed out there. Maybe it's a time where players have to be told what their best position is. Colin Walsh certainly, and I've talked to him about it, wants the involvement of the more central role.
I think if he was playing a more central role at Nottingham Forest, he'd be making more breaks from the midfield to support the front two, or even to run beyond the front two.
Well, the flag went up and then went down again. And Henry thought that there was enough daylight there between the ball and Boulder for him to have a stab at it. Almost caught the goalkeeper with his stud showing. No complaints though from Bob Boulder.
You made a point, Martin, about the apprentices before the game, which I thought was a lovely touch. There's also another nice little thing about today. The ball boys are from both Blackburn and I think the South London Association Croydon schoolboys, and that's nice.
The critics of the Full Members' Cup, and they've been plentiful, might care to remember that the League Cup started in a very humble way back in the early 60s. And because of the range of clubs this incorporates in terms of bringing a Wembley occasion, who's to say that the Full Members' Cup is not in its formative years now towards a regular part in the football calendar. Be a nuisance with fixtures early in the season. There were only 821. 821 saw Charlton against Birmingham in their first match in the march to Wembley. But there are an awful lot more than that wearing red and white here today and thoroughly enjoying their day out. Simon Barker. Blocked by Thompson, but by the body, not the hand. Milne turning on the edge of his own area, but got away with it. Lee was sharp to react on the halfway line. Good support here from Walsh. And then Keeley booted it to safety. Jumping against David Mayle, it drops for Shipley, and it's on his right foot. He worked hard there to make an opening, could have let fly with the left.
Yeah, he's a good dummy kicker, is the lad Shipley. Pretends to kick and then turns back again. And maybe just got a little bit too underneath that, but a good effort.
Certainly glory was beckoning for him then. Melrose. Here's Barker for Blackburn. Ian Miller. Ensko trying to make a run from midfield, but aware that he had to time it properly to avoid the offside flag.
Paul Miller is excellent at organising a back four, and he likes to hold the line. So whenever Blackburn play the ball square or backwards, they will just step up a couple of yards, and if the Blackburn man is already on his way, invariably they'll be caught offside. There was a time at Spurs when Miller and Roberts played centre-back, and possibly to disguise a shade of lack of pace, they continually kept upfield and caught players running offside.
Lee. be retrieved here for Blackburn by Chris Sully. And again, Paul Miller and his back four do the job. A very resilient character. He's had his ups and downs, but has had his share of the big days, more than his share really. This is his 8th Wembley appearance. And Garner felt the force of Miller then, but Blackburn still have the ball with Chris Price. Now Miller is outside him, Hendry through the middle, and Price, when he sees the whites of the opposing goalposts, isn't frightened to accept the responsibility of going it alone. But he's out of position now, and Mail misjudged to let Lee away. Sully to the rescue. Chris Sully was in the Bournemouth team that knocked Manchester United out of the FA Cup some 3 years ago.
Charlton had a wonderful possibility on that break. Robert Lee had a man over, and unfortunately they wasted it.
Humphrey. And that's Walsh. Good handling, because O'Keefe might well have been distracted by Colin Walsh. Any fumble then, and Blackburn might have found themselves a goal down. Hendry. You really can't split the sides on the way this match has gone so far. Lee probing away again. Melrose repositioning in the middle. Well, the free kick is given in Charlton's favour.
There's another case of a linesman making a decision where the referee, I felt, was in a perfect situation to make the decision himself, but then he has very little option but to take the linesman's advice.
Milne was left unmarked. Maybe they were worried about Walsh's shooting power, and Milne had held his position on the edge of the area. It was a real chance, David.
Yes, he tried to place the shot rather than go for power, and O'Keefe was down very quickly. But he came onto it quickly. It was a good bit of play and good handling. O'Keefe's gained a bit of confidence there. He's handled 2 balls superbly well in the last couple of minutes.
We've now reached 12 minutes in the second half, and it's still 0-0. Chris Price, he'll be 27 tomorrow. Reed waiting for the right movement for the throw. Shipley. Plenty of red shirts forward. Miller is one of them. And Thompson guarding at the back. Almost through to Melrose. It would have been interesting if that had got through. Miller. Reed retreating.
No better sight than a running winger, someone attacking defenders, making the excitement happen.
And Ian Miller certainly can run. He was at the hub of that break that's brought Blackburn a corner. He used to run in the Powder Hall professional sprints north of the border, did Miller. Sellers to take the corner. Boulder may have learnt that move from Bruce Grobbelaar, being positive at the near post, coming and anticipating any attempt to flick it on. Melrose. Here's Milne. away from his right-wing berth more in the second half. Reid is up with him. It wasn't a pass that seemed to be going anywhere. Hendry, collected by Barker, waited nicely for Sully. Barker again, Sully going for the return. Thompson had read it. Lee getting bumped in the back by David Mayle, but the referee saw nothing wrong. Lee, now Humphrey. Milne couldn't collect, nor could Melrose. Well, I'm sure they're watching and wondering the outcome of this game. Easy to pick a winner at this point. Garner, here's Miller. Blackburn Rovers players flooding into the middle, and Sellers, it wasn't an easy ball to take. It looks wonderful if it flies into the top corner.
It was a lovely fly to diagonal ball by Miller, once again causing Boulder a moment's hesitation and a problem with that type of ball. But it was rather a loose volley for all that, and slightly reminiscent of his opportunity in the first half.
Milne back on the right. And bundled down. So it's the signal for Charlton to send Thompson forward again, and Paul Miller. In from Peake. And that is Paul Miller, just beaten to it. Shipley couldn't retrieve it. Ian Miller sorted out. And Blackburn are certainly having better fortune than they did when they came here in the FA Cup 27 years ago, their last visit. On that day, Derek Dugan put in a transfer request on the morning of the game, one of the Blackburn players. They lost an own goal in a 3-0 defeat, and they lost the player, Dave Whelan, with a broken leg. Towards Shipley and then deciding to try and use him. Price saw it as well. Garner. Simon Garner, more than 100 league goals for Blackburn. One from him now would mean so much to football in an area where it has a great history. Here is Garner. Shipley. Melrose. Barker busily organising Blackburn Rovers. Hendry giving chase. Thompson shrugging him aside.
Barker's slowly becoming the most influential player on the pitch. He's beginning to win a few balls in midfield. His passing's improved, and he's the one that can set things off and make Blackburn play. It's absolutely vital that he keeps in the game.
Blackburn do, and Don Mackay's not proud of it, regard themselves as a second-half team. All their goals in recent games have come in the second half. They even kept that run going by missing a first-half penalty at West Bromwich Albion a week ago.
I hope they've saved some for today.
Paul Miller. Sully staying close to Milne. Help from Sellers. Here's Mayle. Hendry aware that he could bring it down, but couldn't match the control with the pass. Price. Sorry, David.
I'm surprised there's not any movement from the bench yet, Martin. I haven't seen the substitutes warming up at any time during the game, and I feel particularly on a quite cold day now and blustery day, so important to keep warm and keep every few minutes getting the legs going. And now we're in the second half. I'm sure Don Mackay must be thinking along those lines anyway of changing.
Barker. Here's Sellers. Humphrey a little slow across to close him down, but Sellers took too long. Sully. And Barker is offside. To be fair to Don Mackay, David, Brannigan and Patterson have had a little sprint along the far side. And he does have options there. Here's Mill. Keeley again, first to the ball in the air. Humphrey. Milne. Walsh. Trying to work a way through. And Ralph Milne couldn't beat a goalkeeper who is enjoying an excellent second half. And here's Garner. Excitement at one end and at the other two. Garner neglecting Hendry in the middle. Barker. But it was a thrilling piece of play with a chance, first of all, David.
Yeah.
At the
Walsh forced the issue.
end.
Walsh forced the issue by getting through there. He stumbled into several players, and when it ran to Milne, it was a half chance for sure, maybe better than a half chance, but he narrowed the angle exceptionally well. O'Keefe, he's having a good time. And then, of course, when the play was transferred to the other end, Simon Garner did brilliantly well.
So here's Peake. Good control, Jim Melrose. And Lee, did he use a hand? I think he might have done. Well, handball is not given. A corner is the decision of referee Brian Stevens. And that's why you're hearing some whistles from the Blackburn end. Walsh, blocked by Mail, certainly responded to the goalkeeper's call that time. Prince O'Keefe has travelled the highways and the byways of the Football League to earn a living as a professional goalkeeper, and really for his persistence in making a career for himself, he deserves the thrills he's getting, I'm sure, inside for his goalkeeping, particularly in the second half. Which will have been admired, I'm sure, in the Goalkeepers' Union by Bob Boulder from the other end. Goalkeepers are strange animals, David. They often seem to be more friendly with the opposition goalkeeper than with their own teammates.
Yes, I think goalkeeping, it's very much a personal thing. They're all in the same union, they all have the same job to do, and they all talk amongst themselves about their own experiences. They are, if you like, although they're outfield players, they're very, very much specialist people.
It's very much like that, I can tell you, in the world of football commentators. Maybe it's a similar job. One mistake and you're sunk. Well, the linesman flagged very late. And Paul Healy had to make his decision, and took his time about it, shall we say.
My considered decision halfway through the second half is that the linesman in the yellow isn't so much in harmony as he should be with the referee in the middle.
Brian Stevens, like everybody involved today, very much enjoying the occasion and making the most of it. Melrose. Sully covered some ground to make that interception. Sellers has given it away, and there were teammates committed, and Milne might punish that error. Here's Lee. Milne sent flying off the ball, but the referee allowing play to go on. In fact, it's Milne's chance, and he'd hardly recovered his balance, and he certainly hadn't recovered his composure. Miller. Here's Reed. David Mail, decisive. Taken on by Barker. Garner loitering on the left. That was a textbook block tackle from John Humphrey. He's turning defending into counter-attack.
The game is opening out well now. Both teams committed to attack.
Lee. Walsh. Charlton working from right to left, and Melrose at the forefront of their attacking play, but not ready to receive the ball returned to him by Shipley. But here's Paul Miller, and Lee was robbed right at the very last. Another of those electric turns that Blackburn only just dealt with. Walsh. Charlton here trying to turn the screw. Andy Peake, who had a promising beginning in league football with Leicester, contemporary of Gary Lineker, moved on to Grimsby, delighted to be back in the First Division again. Humphrey. Sellers can't get it very far. Blackburn just looking a little weary at the moment. Thompson. And Miller realising that that was the safest, the most sensible thing to do.
Time for substitutions maybe, Martin. Blackburn on the rocks a little bit.
But here's Barker. Trying to lift Blackburn again. Hendry, Alan Ainscough, Sellers, and Boulder didn't make it. Hendry came in strongly, and Charlton had to concede a corner. And that's the joy of cup football, when a team is just beginning to look as though it's slipping away from them. They can break back with purpose and threat then. Sellers looking to whip it in towards the near post again, I would think, where Keeley and Mail and Miller are waiting. But he couldn't find the area. And there is going to be a substitution, David. They're going to bring on Mark Patterson for Scott Sellers. Patterson is also capable of operating down the left side. Sellers leads to a generous round of applause. Don Mackay had come down to the touchline there, just to urge his players on to maybe lift the tempo. And the substitution taking place after 28 minutes of the second half. And we're beginning now, David, to have to think about extra time.
Yes, no tea today, Martin.
Two teams who haven't found goal scoring easy in their league matches this season. Charlton 30 goals in 33 First Division games. Blackburn 32 in 33 Second Division games. So maybe that scoreline shouldn't surprise us. Sully. Garner. Garner. Corner for Blackburn. Garner making his way into the middle, having won it. Boulder with the fist. Over the shoulder from Milne. And if Blackburn can get it forward, Thompson is playing everyone onside, but he's recovered his senses now after being on the receiving end, I think, of Boulder's charge off his line. Barker. Shipley. Blackburn Rovers do have one famous supporter. They probably have several, but one in particular. The Prime Minister is a vice president of the club and has sent the chairman, William Fox, a good luck message from number 10. Can't be here today, of course, because of a pressing engagement in the Soviet Union. It's Blackburn's throw off Walsh. Well, Alan Ainscough, the oldest player on the pitch at 33, his experience of the game and his know-how in terms of guiding a team through the last stages might be important. Charlton have certainly had the better goal-scoring opportunities in the second half. Here's Peake. Again, we have the linesman making the mind up for the referee. But I don't think there was any doubt that there was a spot of obstruction there as Humphrey was trying to make his progress down the touchline. It's another free kick which might test out Blackburn. They played it short to Walsh. And Melrose, unattended. Jim Melrose was with Manchester City last season, but he didn't play in the full Members' Cup final. He was being sold to Charlton that particular weekend. So this is his final.
Yeah, and I thought that was a particular position to creep into that could have won them the game. I mean, he's got there all alone free. But it was a good catch by O'Keefe, but maybe anything downwards would have been better advised.
Melrose in the wars at the moment. Peak. Suddenly Melrose springing to life, having been limping, but stopped by the offside, and the pain returned. He's an unusual player, David, Jim Melrose. He seems to go and do well over short periods for a club and then move on.
I think also, if you look at his goal scoring, certainly when he first came down from Partick Thistle to Leicester City, I believe, he got the goals in patches. He was quite a hat-trick man, but not maybe a regular goal scorer. Probably if he would have been a regular goal scorer, he would have stayed at one club longer.
5 hat-tricks, in fact, in his senior career. One of them this season against Everton in the First Division.
Yeah, well, that's a great credit, a hat-trick against Everton.
But Melrose is just limping at the moment. And here he is, beaten to it by Price. Walsh. Milne trying to accelerate the play with the pass through to Lee. He's been less of an influence in the second half. 10 minutes remaining of normal time. Garner played it hoping that Miller's long stride would get him there.
That was lovely, Martin, wasn't it? That ball looked as though it was over-paced, but it hit a divot and almost stopped dead to retain the advantage to Blackburn.
Garner's been playing passes like that to Miller for some 6 years now, so he knows his capacity. I remember Ian Miller at Doncaster Rovers when he was in an interesting attack with Peter Kitchen, who had his moments with Orient, scored a lot of goals in an FA Cup run to the semi-final, and Brendan O'Callaghan, who went on to be an international with the Republic of Ireland. Miller's the only one still going of those 3.
That was an excellent front 3, and I think what happened was Miller did so well that he attracted the attention, and they did a swap with Forrest with Curran.
And that's Miller crossing again. Boulder's problem there was not any Blackburn player arriving, but the bulk of Thompson. Keeley has been to Blackburn what Thompson has been to Charlton. Sure figure in the air at the back. Played off by Melrose. Lee was looking menacing, just couldn't collect it. Above Hendry. There are some tired legs out there now, and they face the prospect of an extra 15 minutes each way, and then maybe the drama of the penalty shootout. Humphrey. There's a chance here for a moment of real glory for somebody. A late winner. Whipped away to safety by Chris Sully. Humphrey across to take the throw. Here's Peak. No one had made the run for him. Walsh. Pressed by Ainscough, forcing him back. Charlton the favourites, David. We have to pay tribute to Blackburn for extending them this far, and yes, who knows what might happen now.
Yes, I think they've done well. Both teams have stuck rigidly to their patterns, neither done anything to change, to possibly force the issue in the last 20 minutes. Maybe the lads are putting in even greater efforts. But there's been no tactical switch, there's been no one moving up the front to make a third striker or whatever. And the pattern of the game has been very, very similar throughout.
And even the substitution by Don Mackay for Blackburn has brought on like for like. Patterson fitting in on that left-hand side of midfield. Here he is. Milne. Lee caught behind. Probably with that ankle problem that made him a doubt earlier in the week. And that can't have done it any good. Humphrey. Milne didn't make contact with the ball in his attempt to halt Patterson. On the Charlton bench, Steve Britt and Peter Shirtliff are the two substitutes. Neither of them are forwards, David, so Lenny Lawrence, not with perhaps the range of mobility in his team selection, with that to change things.
Yeah, that's an interesting selection, because when you have the opportunity of two substitutes, one normally feels that a goal scorer is an essential, someone who can maybe produce a goal.
Miller trying to produce a goal here for Blackburn, and he's away from a rather tired-looking Reed. Boulder's committed. Hendry! What a strike!
Once again, one of those superb diagonal crosses of Ian Miller, which put them in a bit of a twist was, and a superb strike for a centre-half converted to centre-forward. He'll be very proud of that finish.
It's his 6th game for Blackburn Rovers.
I think Boulder did get a touch on it.
And that's his third goal. Colin Hendry, £30,000 from Dundee. What an inspired signing by Don Mackay. And how the Blackburn Rovers fans have taken to him, not just today. They'll adore him after that if Blackburn can hang on now. But he was telling me last night that he got off to a good start playing centre-half in his first game for the club. He's played up front in the game since then, but he really feels he's settled in quickly. Offside. He's 21 years old, is Hendry. A mere squad player for Dundee in the Scottish Premier League this season, but he's a Wembley hero here. It was an electrifying goal, David, really worthy of any great Wembley occasion.
Yeah, once Miller had burst past Reed, I think there was some hesitation, and I felt Miller personally was going to cut in and try and confront Miller and make it more of an exact chance. But he decided to put the ball in early, which is a good grounding for a winger, and the outcome was that splendid goal.
And Blackburn now have time on their side. What a time to score with 4 minutes remaining. It's bedlam behind the goal to the left. And all they want to hear now is the final whistle. And Garner is away. There may be more delight for Blackburn yet. Hendry inside him, and Garner was, as he was entitled to do, going for goal himself. Thompson across.
There was a possible offside from the difficult position up here. The linesman then hesitated, decided to keep his flag down, Martin.
Patterson plays it short. It's too deep for Ghana. Blackburn Rovers, 14th in the second division. You have to go back to 1928 to find their last Wembley win in the FA Cup. They beat Huddersfield Town 3-1. The team which can't score a goal in the first half at the moment, but is keeping a very successful run going with goals in the second half. They've done it in the league and improved their position. And they've done it here at Wembley and are now seconds away from winning the full Members' Cup. But Charlton aren't finished yet. Ghana wanting to take some time and just take it somewhere where Charlton can't get it back, and he's done that.
We felt early on that the pace of Miller might cause problems if they could exploit it down this right-hand side, and it finally gave them what looks like the victory.
It's a question now of what Brian Stevens will add on. Blackburn Rovers have won it. Colin Hendry's goal, and a tremendous shot into the roof of Bob Boulder's net it was. 4 minutes from time has taken the second division club to Wembley glory, and Charlton Athletic end in dismay and now have to turn their thoughts towards keeping alive in the first division. 20,000 supporters have come down from Blackburn for a day they'll never forget. And Don Mackay, the manager who took over only a few weeks ago, inherited a club that had been built by Bobby Saxton's diligent work over a number of years, but the team was beginning to break up. Don Mackay has inspired, as new managers often do, lifted the players. And Charlton can only find desolation and wonder what went wrong.
And Don Mackay typically is walking round to the Charlton players and shaking their hands. He's just going to Bob Boulder, the goalkeeper, at this moment in time. He's an ex-goalkeeper himself. He's a terrific sportsman, Don Mackay, and he's a great enthusiast. And it's nice for him to start in this way, but I'm sure he'll be the first to remember all the work that Bob Saxton's put in.
There's Don Mackay just now turning his attentions to his own players. He insisted that they hadn't come here for the day out. They'd come to win the full Members' Cup. And Colin Hendry, hugged and held high by his captain Glenn Keeley, and now his manager. And the manager who signed him, Tom Mackay, since he left Coventry City last season, has been working for Rangers, and he knew the Scottish scene well. And he'll justify the signing of Colin Hendry, David, forevermore on this moment.
Yeah, well, there's that magic moment when Miller's cross evades everyone and he hits it first time unerringly into the top of the net. A real striker's goal. I'm sure that if he takes chances with that confidence, he's got a future as a front player.
So it's the losers who go up first, applauded by the victors. Steve Thompson, who performed admirably at the back. But Charlton's lack of goal power in the end let them down here, as it has done in the first division this season. And Billy Wright, William Ambrose Wright, one of football's all-time legends, has a word, and I'm sure the right word for the occasion. A word of sympathy for Miller collecting his memento. But it wasn't to be for Charlton Athletic, despite the trust of Milne and Lee at times. Glenn Keeley would be advised now to take this very slowly and gently. Few people savour this experience, and those that have done it tell you that there's nothing like it in the world to go up the steps at Wembley as a winner. Chelsea collected it last year, but now it's Blackburn Rovers who are the toast of Wembley. A kiss, and then he shows it to those wearing the blue and white. And how often they stumble at the end too. Tired legs, but warm hearts. And they all want to feel it. The trophy being passed along with the blue and white ribbons. And I'm sure Margaret Thatcher in the Soviet Union, when she hears the result as a vice president of the club, will share in this delight. David Pleat, they were never really overawed by the occasion as the underdogs. No pressure, of course, on them.
No, I think they started the game better. Charlton showed more nerves at the beginning of the game. And in the second half, when Charlton came at them in more numbers and began to play more fluid football, I thought that they resisted very well defensively and broke out with longer balls. Well, I think Barker was very instrumental in midfield. I thought he worked very hard. He compensated for Ainsco's ageing legs. And all in all, Blackburn really are the heroes. They're from the division below Charlton Athletic, and they've come here and they've conquered it.
And Don Mackay ending the procession down the steps with a trophy in his hand. Jim Brannigan, one of the substitutes who's been at Blackburn a long time, deserves to be a part of the victory. And now they pose for photographs that I'm sure they'll have framed and keep as souvenirs for as long as they live. Blackburn Rovers, the pride of the North. And today they perform proudly at Wembley. Goodness knows what it will do to reawaken football in the area. It's been a traumatic season for Blackburn. They won their opening 3 league games this season, then 1 win in the next 17. That cost Bobby Saxton his job. But they've turned the corner at the right time, and the Full Members' Cup has boosted their confidence for their league performances. Throughout their career without really getting any share of the limelight. Men like Ainscoe and Keeley, Simon Garner.
A mention for the right back too, did very well. The right back from Hereford played all his football in the lower leagues and came on today and did splendidly.
Ian Miller, of course, as well, who imposed his particular brand of skill on the match at a crucial phase.
I think it's nice for the club, Martin. They've always been a very friendly, hospitable club. They're one of the most welcoming boardrooms in the country. I think it's the hot pies, but they really are friendly people at Blackburn. They've got great tradition. They're a fine club, and you can see by the support that they've brought today, it's an area where the interest is going to be reawakened.
Well, they won the battle early in the afternoon in terms of the supporters, in terms of the noise and the volume of support, indeed the number of people here. And then it took longer, but the team won their battle as well. And Colin Hendry can hardly believe it's happening to him. I think he's started 3 games for Dundee this season before being signed at the end of February. And I'm sure they were saying in Blackburn, David, they were saying Colin who when Don Mackay brought him down. Well, they know Colin Hendry now, and quite rightly Vince O'Keefe getting his share of the limelight. Some excellent handling when the destination of the match was really in the melting pot. And he's not going to drop the cup. As they celebrate, David, I must say to you, has it crossed your mind this afternoon, you're one match away from coming here and 2 matches away from the delirium that we're seeing now?
Never tempt Providence, Martin. Treat every game as it comes. I hope and pray that we're good enough and deserve to get there, and that we can have a wonderful day in May. But I've been upset before and disappointed, and, you know, let's hope that we can do it this time.
Well, Colin Hendry hasn't seen it again yet, but we can show it to you once more from this splendid angle. You do get a perfect view of Boulder having to commit himself from the wicked cross from Ian Miller. And what a difficult ball to hit, David.
Yeah, it came to him. He struck it early, but he struck it beautiful and true. It would have been in a World Cup. You know, you'd have given him great credit, and you must give him great credit today.
Come when hopefully Ian Miller may be showing more emotion than anybody, and I perhaps can sense why, because Blackburn have been a nearly team in the 2nd division and Miller's been a part of that. They've been so close to winning a place back into the 1st division, but now they have a trophy to their name. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage here from Wembley. We brought you an excellent match and a thrilling goal from David Pleat and myself, Martin Tyler. We say goodbye.